Let's get something straight. Nobody cares that you're tired. Nobody cares that your ex left you. Nobody cares that you had a rough childhood, that you're overwhelmed, that life isn't fair. You could bleed out in front of most people and they'd step over your body with a half-hearted thoughts and prayers before scrolling back to their dopamine feed. It's not personal, it's the truth. The world moves on, with or without you, and until you face that truth with cold, brutal honesty, you'll stay stuck, weak, and invisible. But once you accept it, once you stop waiting for sympathy, applause, or permission, that's when the fire starts. This isn't about becoming cold or emotionless, it's about becoming unbreakable. So here are 12 Stoic lessons to help you stop giving a damn about the noise and start building a life that commands silent respect. Let's begin. 1. True worth isn't decided by an audience. I remember when I posted my first video online, it barely got 2 likes. I refreshed the page 30 times, hoping someone, anyone, would validate my thoughts. You know what I realized? Validation doesn't build value, sweat does. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." This applies to attention too. If you constantly need the crowd to clap for you, you've already lost. You're a prisoner of the spotlight, dancing for approval, starving for eyes. Let them look away. Let them scroll past. Your worth isn't something they give. It's something you forge, in silence, in suffering, in solitude. 2. Answer to yourself, not the masses. The crowd has no direction. One day they'll cheer you. The next, they'll crucify you. Ask yourself, who do you wake up to impress? Some stranger with a dopamine addiction and an opinion they barely thought through? Or the version of you you're trying to become? Marcus Aurelius journaled every morning, not for followers, not for fame, but to remind himself who he was becoming. He didn't write for applause, he wrote for alignment. You want real power? Start measuring your day by your own code, not by views, not by claps, not by praise, by progress. 3. Both praise and blame are just noise. Praise can destroy you just as fast as criticism. When they praise you, you let your guard down. When they blame you, you lose your focus. Either way, they control you. If you want to be free, don't let yourself be tied to anything you can't control. I learned this the hard way. A few years back, I got flooded with praise over a project I didn't even like. I let it gas me up. I thought I was untouchable. I stopped improving. 6 months later, the same people forgot I existed. Praise is a sugar high. Blame is an empty threat. Neither one should alter your course. Stay on mission. Stay locked in. 4. You define your worth, not society. Society's standards are trash. It'll tell you you're not good enough unless you're rich, trending, perfect-looking, and always smiling. Meanwhile, it celebrates clowns, worships celebrities, and ignores discipline, sacrifice, and wisdom. You want to live by that scoreboard? Screw that. You're not here to please sheep. You're here to become a lion. Stop asking, do they think I'm good enough? Start asking, am I becoming who I said I'd be? Your identity is not something they assign, it's something you claim. 5. External validation is a temporary high. Likes fade, compliments fade, the applause always dies. You know what doesn't fade? Respect you build with yourself. I used to lift at a local gym. There was this guy, always alone. No Instagram, no selfies, just training. Every single day, rain or snow, 5 a.m., he was there. Years passed. I asked him once why he kept showing up. You know what he said? Because I respect the man I see in the mirror when I don't quit. That line hit like a punch to the chest. Stop chasing dopamine. Start chasing discipline. Validation fades. Character stays. 6. Don't stress over things outside your influence. The algorithm, your ex, the economy, the weather. You can scream about them all day, but you're still powerless over them. And power wasted on the uncontrollable is power stolen from your potential. The Stoics had one rule: control what you can, ignore what you can't. You can't control the storm, but you can sharpen the blade before it hits. You can prepare, adapt, strengthen, and move forward, regardless of what life throws at you. I used to obsess over people's opinions, every comment, every passive-aggressive jab. Then I realized, if a dog barks at you on the street, do you bark back? Of course not. You keep walking. That's what mastery looks like. Non-reaction. Focus your energy like a sniper. Every ounce of stress spent on the uncontrollable is energy stolen from your mission. You're not a product on display. You're not a child begging for claps. You're a builder. a warrior, a silent killer of old identities. So stop looking around, look within, because the moment you realize that nobody is coming to save you and nobody owes you applause is the same moment you become dangerous. The world doesn't need another performer, it needs men and women who've stopped waiting to be noticed and started moving like they don't need anyone's permission. 7. Fortify your mind like an unbreakable fortress. Your mind is either a castle or a cage. If you don't build it strong, life will break in and conquer you. People spend hours at the gym training their bodies but leave their minds wide open to attack, scrolling, comparing, reacting, overthinking. It's like forging steel armor but leaving the gate unlocked. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, and yet he said that we only have power over our minds. Fortify it. Train it like a warrior trains his blade. Don't just read quotes, live them. Practice stillness, embrace boredom, cut out weak thoughts like tumors. The world will test your walls. If you crumble every time someone ghosts you or life gets unfair, your mind is made of paper, not stone. Make it impenetrable. Make it terrifying to your enemies and calming to your allies. 8. True courage is calm, not flashy. You've been lied to. Courage isn't loud. It's not the guy screaming in the gym or flexing online. That's ego. That's theater. Real courage is the man who shows up every day, even when no one's watching, even when he's afraid, even when he's bleeding inside. Stoics called this ataraxia, a state of unshakable inner calm. You know what's rare? The man who can stay still in chaos. The man who doesn't flinch when insulted. The man who doesn't panic when everything starts collapsing, because he already died 1,000 deaths in his mind. He's already rehearsed every failure. He's already made peace with discomfort. That's power, and power doesn't need noise. 9. Being real is braver than pretending. You want to know what's exhausting? Pretending to be someone you're not, for likes, for women, for approval. You'll burn out living a lie. The algorithm will always reward clones, but your soul, it punishes in silence. You start losing your edge, your fire, your you-ness. You become a mirror, reflecting what others want to see instead of who you actually are. But here's the paradox. The moment you drop the act, they'll start paying attention. Not all of them, but the right ones. There's a quote I live by. Better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not. The world doesn't need more curated perfection. It needs more real ones who bleed honestly and speak truth, especially when it's dangerous. 10. Looking inward daily builds wisdom. Most people drown in distractions. They'll do anything to avoid themselves. Music, screens, food, noise, drama. But the Stoic path, it forces you to face the mirror daily. No filters, no lies. I journal every night, not for Instagram, not for aesthetics, just to bleed thoughts on paper, to ask myself, where did I lie today? Where did I flinch? Where did I play small? You want to grow? Look inward. Not once a month, not when you're broken. Every damn day. The strongest men I've met were never the loudest. They were the ones who sat with their darkness until they understood it, and then turned it into armor. 11. Struggle shows you where to grow. You think pain is the enemy? You're wrong. Pain is a map. It shows you where you're soft, where you're afraid, where you're unfinished. Most people avoid pain. Winners seek it. I used to hate rejection. It'd eat me alive. Ghosted texts, ignored ideas, silent treatments felt like death. Then I realized every rejection was a compass. It wasn't personal, it was directional. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. So the next time life slaps you, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this trying to forge in me? Growth isn't found in comfort. Growth is the scar left behind after your excuses die. 12. The only race you're in is with yourself. Comparison is a disease, and the internet is a buffet of illusions. Everyone looks rich, everyone looks happy, everyone looks ahead. But you feel behind, like you're drowning in slow motion while everyone else sprints past you. Stop. You're not in their race. You're in yours. The Stoics never said beat others. They said beat yesterday's version of yourself. Let others chase virality. You chase consistency. Let others fake success. You build quiet victories. Let them sprint. You march, slow, ruthless, focused. The only man you need to surpass is the one in the mirror this morning. And when you start winning that war, the world starts moving differently around you. Burn the costume, build the man. Let's end with a bitter truth and a beautiful one. No one is coming to pat you on the back for getting your life together. No one cares that you woke up early, fought your demons, or said no to the distractions. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. You're not doing it for claps. You're doing it because something in you refuses to rot. The voice in your head, the one whispering that you were built for more, that voice doesn't lie. But you've got to earn its respect, so stop waiting, stop explaining, and for the love of all things real, start building in silence like the world already forgot you. Because when you rise without needing anyone, you become unstoppable. And that's when they'll start watching. But by then you won't care anymore. You'll be too busy becoming the weapon they never saw coming. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.